Welcome back to our channel, and as promised, we've been doing it all week. You've been hearing me say it. We sit here with the most interesting people. We're sitting here with the change makers, we're sitting here with the KOLs, we're sitting here with the CEOs, the CFOs, the CMOs, everybody that's been changing our market, everybody that's been influencing it, pushing adoption forward. Those are the people we want to talk to live right here at Paris Blockchain Week 2025. I have the honor of having Alessandro sitting right beside me. P2P.org is here to answer some of the best questions that we could come up with to make sure that you keep getting the information necessary to keep moving forward in our crypto space. So Alessandro, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
Oh yeah, start by introducing yourself.
Yeah, I'm Alessandro. I'm a product lead at P2P.org.
Okay.
P2P.org is one of the leading staking provider in the space out there.
Yes.
We're more than 7 billion in TVL.
Yes.
We provide exposures to our clients, mostly like tier 1 institutions. Exposure in terms of yield, basically. So staking is often considered like the safest options out there when it comes to yield. And then you can go to more exotic things. We are also providing yields on top of stablecoins and other chains. So,
now, it was interesting yesterday. I was on a panel on institutional adoption. And someone on the panel, Martins, he said that every country needs to have their own stablecoin. How would you react to such a statement?
I agree. If we look at the stablecoin market right now, I mean, there is obviously like a large US dominance when it comes to like to which currency those stable coins are pegged. So I think it's inevitable that we'll get to a stage more similar to like traditional finance where there is a bit more balance in terms of like which currency is dominant or not. As far as I know, there are like countries indeed who are kind of exploring the options to have their own stable coins. So we're talking like about CBDC, some examples, or just some existing stablecoin issuers which are indeed launching their own stables pegged to a different currency. So I think it's kind of inevitable.
Very good. Now, when it comes to P2P.org, do you believe that we still have the necessity of a traditional financial institution like banks when it comes to managing stablecoins?
I think so. I think it's, at the end of the day, at least like short, medium term, is going to be in a hybrid system. You know, like banks obviously are important piece into the traditional finance, and when we talk about institutional adoptions, we're often talking about these traditional entities bringing some liquidity on chain. So I think it's important that this adoption is also coming from their side.
Wonderful. Now, as the market keeps moving, we've had a lot of change since January. By the time you watch this video, it would be next week, but yesterday, SEC appointed someone new. The president keeps doing a lot of changes that influence the market. How are you working to make sure that you don't find yourself following the wave? How do you stay ahead of it?
So, first of all, I'm not a legal expert. You know, that's probably a question that our legal team will be best to address. What I can say is that we are, at the end of the day, we are a technical like infrastructure provider. You know, our focus is on the tech. Our focus is on the blockchain, our focus is on innovation. That's what we care the most at the end of the day. Of course, trying to remain compliant, but let's say we obviously follow the news, but our focus is on innovations right now.
And if you, that word, you say it 3 times, innovation. When it comes to innovation, how do you stay ahead? How do you remain relevant?
Let's go. A big part is also coming from our incredible research team. So we have like a very strong core team and we spend a lot of time sourcing the opportunity out there in the system. Obviously, being one of the leading staking providers, it gives us some edge in terms of like relationships. So we work very closely with all the major layer 1 foundations out there. And that obviously gives us that edge to also understand like where are the opportunities coming next. For example, on Ethereum, we are spending a lot of time looking at the Spectra update, you know, how can we basically package it in a way which is extremely easy for our clients to integrate. And the same we do for like all the other major chains. So that gives us a lot of advantage in capturing a lot of these opportunities.
Now, as I've understood it, staking requires a little bit of knowledge. And the way I always see it is you are the parent and the user is the child. And as a parent, sometimes you know better what the child needs and should get, and the child wants some things that they shouldn't. How do you deal with this dynamic where you don't give them what they want, you give them what you should think is best for them. How do you go ahead and deal with this dynamic?
The most important thing is understand like their needs. They understand their risk threshold. That's often like kind of the conversation. Where does it start? Like if you're talking with a bank, if you're talking with like an asset managers, how much risk are you willing to take? And then based on that, how much risk and how much rewards obviously you want to get.
Yes.
So then based on that, you can look at the various options that exist in the market and present them which ones best fits like their needs.
Okay.
If we're talking what we call like vanilla staking basically, so that's like the simplest form of staking that there is out there. It's non-custodial, it means the clients keep the ownership of the assets at any point in time. That's usually the one that falls into the safest options, but also kind of low, medium rewards. And then you have other options. If you're talking, for example, Ethereum, we're number one on risk-taking with Eigenlayer in terms of TVL, in terms of market share. That, of course, increase the rewards, but maybe also increase some potential risk in terms of smart contract vulnerability. So we as a staking provider, I like considering ourselves also as a distribution partner.
Okay.
So we also fulfill this role of education, explaining in advance what are the risks, and also what are the opportunities. And then in the end, it's up to the client to decide what fits for them.
Very good. You said a very interesting word to me. I'm an educator, I'm a teacher. So when it comes to education, what steps are you taking to keep improving the way that you bring forth your educative process?
At the end of the day, it's a very like a relationship we build with the client. Of course, from our side, we need to be quite knowledgeable about what we're doing.
Yes.
And we must do it just because we are also running the infrastructure. So if we do not have that knowledge, our infrastructure just cannot comply to what are the levels of quality that our clients expect. So clients expect the top of the top, like we call like institutional grade solutions. So that knowledge obviously helps a lot. And then we have this very direct relationship with the clients, where we basically say bring upfront like what are some of the risks. We understand, when it comes to evaluation risk, it's about the technical side, it's about the operational side, it's about the regulation side. So we have experts in all these areas.
Yes.
We bring them up front, and we just have a conversation straightforward.
Good job. Now, from the technical side, what can we expect in the next 3 months? Specifically, technical and the growth.
Well, Spectra, I think, is a big thing. Spectra is coming on Ethereum, hopefully next month.
Yes.
It's a big change in the space. Also for us as a validator, it brings consolidations, it brings auto-compounding, which make the staking flow on Ethereum simpler and also increases slightly like some rewards for them. We're also looking at the count abstraction that's also coming on Ethereum to simplify even further like the staking flow. Solana is also a hot topic out there, so we continue like pushing some of the changes that are happening. When it comes to NED, when it comes to restaking, we're working very closely with some of the protocols out there. So a lot is happening, I would say.
Wonderful. So we are going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep innovating, and everything he said is in line with innovation and the way that we are pushing forward our ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
P2P is always interesting. You know what to do. Share this video, like this video, keep following our channel, and we will keep bringing you the most interesting stories right here from Paris Blockchain Week 2025. See you soon.